Alright, I moved to US 3 years back and I've learned so many things in the last 3 years, and one of them happened to be about this clock. This is not just your normal clock. This actually behaves differently for different people, and it also stays with you the entire day. Basically, this clock is built inside everyone, and it is called the circadian rhythm or the internal clock. If you're new here, welcome. This is Nish trying to document his life, or should I say, cool life. God, you're so cringe. Trust me when I say everything is so cool here. It is a gloomy day. Not a big fan of this weather, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm driving to office right now, and I thought I'll make the intro to the video today. There are two main reasons why I'm making this series. One, to document my life, and two, to share something what I've learned in this journey. Personally, I wish someone had taught me this long back. I didn't have to do all this trial and errors to find this out. This particular video is for you if you belong in any of these three categories. 1. You got a good 8 hours of sleep, but you still wake up all tired. 2. You're trying to lose weight, you're working out, you're on a strict diet, but nothing is helping. 3. Throughout the day, you're all tired, you're sleepy, but when you hit the bed in the evening, you cannot fall asleep. Does any of this ring a bell? I know all these are really common problems, but the solution for all these problems is the same. That is the circadian code. Most of the things which I'll be quoting in this video will be based on this book called Circadian Code by, I think it's Satyan Panda. To be honest, this book literally changed my perspective towards everything. Like how I eat, how I work out, how I operate, every single thing. I highly recommend everyone to read this book. But I'm not going through every single chapter in the book. I'm just saying things which I found helpful. So, coming back, what is circadian code or circadian rhythm or circadian clock? All this are interchangeable. All these terms are interchangeable. Basically, just like your heart, right? Your heart beats in a rhythm. Even your body and brain behaves in a rhythm. Right now, I'm going to work and I have to be at work at a certain time and log off at a certain time. And I have this working hours. Similarly, your body has working hours and resting hours. If your manager wants you to be at work at 8 a.m. and you're inconsistent, you might lose your job and you might ruin your career. Just like that, if you're inconsistent with your sleep and eating habits, you might ruin your life. Like typically we are more concentrated about work rather than our health. I mean, it's not just us, even plants and animals have this internal clock, but the only difference between their internal clock and our internal clock is that they obey their internal clock and we just take it for granted. Going out in the sun at least 30 minutes a day, turning off all your screens an hour before you go to bed, this simple things makes a really big difference. I'm not saying that you'll see the difference right away, but I'm sure that you'll see the difference if you're consistent. If you're taking your time to watch this video, I really appreciate it. I don't have any big expectations from this video or the series. I hope this video helps one person. Let's talk about food. This example about inconsistency personally blew my mind. Let's take an example. Okay, let me take a bite. Let's do a taste test and see how this is. Coming back to what I was talking about, scientists took two identical rats. Let's assume for now this is rat 1 and this is rat 2. So what they did is they put this identical rats into a junk food diet. Both the rats were fed the same amount of junk food, but the only difference is rat 1 was fed all the amount of food at once. It could eat anytime it wants, basically whenever it feels like. But on the other hand, rat 2 was fed the same amount of junk food in a fixed time interval. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. Same junk food, but in a fixed time interval. At the end of this experiment, the results were just shocking. It literally blew my mind. So at the end of this experiment, scientists found out the rat 1, which did not have a fixed schedule, it was diabetic, it had fatty liver, it was obese, and it had all the symptoms of having a heart disease. But the rat 2, which ate the same meal but in a fixed portion, did not show any signs of diabetic, obesity, or any of those. But in turn, it had more energy and it was more active. This is just unbelievable because both the rats ate the same food, the same junk food, but the only difference was the time. You might be thinking, this was with junk food, but I eat healthy food. That shouldn't matter. Eating healthy food anytime should be good because it's healthy, right? It should not have any side effect. Guess what? Scientists did the same experiment with the healthy food. They took the same amount of healthy food, fed everything at once for rat 1. It could eat whenever it wants, and took the same amount of healthy food and gave it in a structural manner. End of this experiment, the result was the same. Even if the rat 1 ate the same healthy food without consistency, it did not help. I always thought that if I'm eating healthy food any time of the day, it should be the same. It should be healthy. My body should still process it. But I was totally wrong. After reading this experiment, I realized it is not what you eat, it is when you eat. It's Sunday morning, 7 a.m. and I just finished my stretching routine. So I always used to wonder why people wake up on a weekend and try doing the same thing what they do during the weekdays. I used to be that person who had a different routine on a weekday, and on a weekend I had a different routine. So when Monday comes, I used to be like, I gotta do the same thing again. So I used to wait for the weekend so that I can, do some different thing, probably sleep over or do something. So as I was telling you, your body works on a rhythm. Imagine you're flying from US to Japan. The time difference is almost 12 hours. So if you're flying in the morning from US to Japan, when you arrive in Japan, your body thinks that, oh, it's already 12 hours. It probably should be evening and it's time to sleep. But when you go to Japan, it's still morning and your body freaks out and it needs to, the rhythm what you have, it needs to reset so you can operate how you operate in the morning. So that basically is called jet lag, where your body freaks out and doesn't know what's happening. The same jet lag feeling happens when you don't do the things on the weekend. The best way to put it is, during the weekdays, you're in US, and during the weekend, you go to Japan. And Monday, you come back to US again and your body is so jet lagged. That's how I look at things. Fun fact, this glass has my name engraved on it. One of my friends gave me this and I just love it. That's why I have a similar routine on the weekend. So do I follow it every weekend? Probably not, but just try to be consistent. This actually helps with your sleep cycle, helps you keep active, and try to be more consistent. You will end up having so much time on the weekends to do a lot of things for yourself. Imagine if you start having a routine during the weekend. I'm not saying that you'll have more energy from the next day. This will take time. It's probably going to take you like at least 4 to 6 weeks to see the difference. So it's all about being patient and being consistent. I'm not an expert, I'm just talking based on my experience. Thanks for watching. I hope I see you in the next video. I hope you have a cool day.